Well, I'm glad you think that, Paula. I'm really glad you think that because my intention were on Friday to get one in, but I had a busy old week last week. To be fair, I've just done. I'm normally like 2 weeks in front with the videos on YouTube, but we had busy weeks been last couple of weeks, and then I've honestly been like dosed up on tablets for the last couple of days. I've just done one at videos today for this week, and I thought, well, if we're gonna get through this, we're gonna have to keep these streams going. So yeah, I might be looking a little bit worse for where my hair's not quite right and. Bit paler and but yes, it's about right time, isn't it? 6:30, which is about time we normally do it. So yeah, looking forward to getting it on, and hopefully it'll be something a little bit different on a Sunday evening. I am considering, because I would like to get through this season. I am considering possibly doing like a video of this on a week. So maybe, do you know, like on a Wednesday. I actually had work on Friday afternoon. Oh right, fair enough then. I'm wondering if we sort of do a video in a week. To be fair, the next couple of weeks is going to be pretty mental for me. Maybe a little career change and things happening. So I've got a lot going on outside of this, but we'll see. We'll certainly see. I'm thinking of maybe doing a midweek video and then a stream on a Friday. That's how I'd like to do it. Because I've knocked the other series apart from the F1 Manager stuff on the head now for the time being, because I physically can't keep up with everything. So yeah, it should be something a little bit different. But I'm looking at the car parts development. So we've got a chassis that's going to be done in one day. So let's well, I said career change. It's same career but just different roles. But I've got big decisions to make on it. So we'll have to see. It's going to be a very interesting week. Do you think they'll put F1 Academy in? Maybe. I think there's an opportunity for them to put F1 Academy drivers in the game. I don't know what they're going to do next year. I'm not even sure when it's meant to be released, if I'm honest. I'm not quite sure when it's meant to be released, so I need to have a little look into that because I'd like to know, because I'd like to sort of plan in terms of my series anyway, where we want to be at what point. So we've just had a chassis upgrade go on the car. Let's have a little look at what else we've got. So everything's been upgraded now to Spec 2 apart from the suspension. I seem to recall the suspension is quite okay. If I have a look at the rank on the grid, it's not great, is it? It's not amazing. What about the car as a whole? Let's have a look. The car as a whole, that high-speed cornering is serving my Andretti Cadillac cars amazingly well. So I want to ensure that we keep on top of that. So we have got still some things to do. So I'm wondering, do we do another chassis upgrade is what I'm thinking. We've just done the new chassis, haven't we? So we've got 2.2 here. I'm wondering if we do that and put all that in to the chassis this time round. What's that going to do in terms of rank on the grid? Not a hell of a lot, it must be said. Because that would... If we knock that lifespan down a little bit, I think that makes sense to get that done again. So we're going to put 6 engineers on that. We're going to rush it. And I think that'll work quite well. I'm trying to... my Andretti save, like you'll see at the end of this week, like the cost cap is so massively important, as we know. So we've got to ensure that we get the cost cap right. At this moment in time, we're looking all right on most things. So I think we might as well get straight into it. Let's just have a look at what we've got going on in terms of the standings and things. So championship wise, of course, we are top of the table. Red Bull can't catch us because, you know, Christian Horner just can't beat me at Ferrari at this moment in time. We are what, 39 points? 39 points clear of the Red Bulls. They've only got 1 win this season, the Red Bulls. Must be said, we're doing a little bit better than that. We're on 4 wins. I've been putting the lowest lifespan just because on the last teams you're developing so much. Anyway, exactly that. The lowest lifespan is a big thing that I've learned so far during this game cycle. So yeah, it's definitely something that's helped me get that Andretti towards the start of the grid. But I think in the lower teams as well, it does start to catch up with you in terms of finances, or at least it's starting to catch up with me a little bit. I'm going to start having some bailiffs knocking on my door at Andretti pretty shortly, but I'm determined I'm not going to break the cost cap. Driver standings wise, Charles Leclerc is leading the way in terms of the driver's standings. 124 points he's on at this moment in time. Max Verstappen's 30 points behind. Can't quite catch him at this moment. He's not been smiling a lot in this series so far, as he are, Max. Carlos Sainz did well in the last Grand Prix, I believe, so he's on up to P3 now. So we're looking okay at this moment in time. We're going to mark all that as red. What happened in the last race in Miami? Let's have a look. Oh, we got a 1-2, didn't we? That were it. Yeah, Charles Leclerc won by 16 seconds from Carlos Sainz. We dominated in Miami. It was absolutely superb on the day. So it's all looking rather promising, isn't it? So we can continue on now. We've got a bit of manufacturing going on as well by the looks of things. Suspension-wise, yeah, we probably do need a couple more. If I just get one of them manufactured, that should be fine, because we're not going to smash the suspension up, are we? Hopefully this weekend. It must be said with side pods manufactured. Are they on both cars, the side pods? Yeah, is everything installed on both cars? Oh, we need that chassis up. That'd have been helpful, wouldn't it? Oh, mind you, we've got the other chassis upgrade coming on, so we don't actually need that chassis upgrade because we're waiting for the next one, so that's all fine. But I'm pretty sure everything else is all installed on both cars. So we're all good to go in terms of that. All I need to make sure we've upgraded the design centre. That's going to help us massively moving forward as well. And Antonio Giovinazzi with the slick back hair and the fantastic facial hair, it must be said. To be fair, I've actually gone upstairs and had a shave before I come on here because I did look a right tramp a bit ago. So, yeah, Antonio Giovinazzi makes it look good. I sadly can't make it look good in terms of beers. We've upgraded the hospitality area, so we bought some posher wine. I'm hoping we've brought the best wine from Italy, really. I mean, that's what we want to be doing in our hospitality area. You'd expect, wouldn't you? You'd expect all the best Italian wines in the Ferrari hospitality. Let's have a look at the performance targets. Is IMOLA going to suit our car? Expected strategy is a one-stop. Car attributes, medium and high-speed cornering. We're pretty decent at all that. It's an alternative qualifying weekend as well, so that's something that we can bear in mind. So let's go to the performance targets. I see no reason why both cars shouldn't be in Q2 and Q3, it must be said. Fastest lap, I reckon. What should we go for the finish positions? 2 cars in the top 4? Or should we be ambitious and go 2 cars in the top 3? I'm thinking top 4, but I'm open to negotiation. Should we play it safe and go top 4? I think we shall. We'll go top 4. Finish position streak we're very much on for as well, so we're doing okay on that. So as long as we don't have any massive problems here this weekend, we should be all good to go. I've actually been experimenting with some new graphics settings for this as well, but I've not quite sussed it out yet. My word, that's bright, Jesus. I've not quite sussed that out yet. 2 in top 4, I would agree, Paul. I think that is probably our safest bet at this moment in time. Now, we need to, straight away, as we get to... Have we got rain coming? We've got a cloudy Sunday, but not too much rain predicted. Right, let's car parts first and foremost. I think we probably just leave on what we've got on at this moment in time. And then what we'll do is probably from the next Grand Prix, we'll start changing this up. And these will be our like practice and stuff engines. Let's go to the setup. This is where I get to do some magic on my computer that I can get on. Let's have a look at the setups for this weekend. So, what do we want? We want Imola, the other Italian Grand Prix from what I've recorded. I've done 2 races today and they've both been Italian Grand Prix. How happy is that? So, 6.5 on the front wing even. 13 on the rear wing angle. We're going to go 4.6 on the anti-roll. We'll go 3.5 on the tyre camber and possibly 0 on the toe out, and we shall do that for both cars. Just makes it nice and easy, this. I'm not one for... I'm sure you don't want to see us go through 3 practice sessions with me tinkering with 1 degree on the rear wing angle. Maybe you do. Maybe you would like to see me do that, but it would turn an hour and a half stream into a very long one, I believe. So we will get forward to practice. To qualifying. If my voice does go, I do apologise. Like I say, I've not been particularly well over the last few days. So, Verstappen just about on pole. My word, there's not much in it, is there? There's not much in it between them two. Although we were on softs, he was on mediums. So, something to bear in mind. I've had mixed sort of success at IMOLA in terms of these F1 Manager games, it must be said. So I'm hoping that we can do rather well here. I think what we're going to do, as it's an alternative qualifying session, we are going to put our best engines in because it is our own Grand Prix, this, isn't it? This is one of our own Grand Prix for Ferrari. So we need to make sure that we have got the best parts in because we want the Tifosi to be absolutely loving us around here. And I don't want to see Max Verstappen today. I don't want to see him at all. I'd like to just drive away from him and let him battle. So we are putting the freshest engines we've possibly got in the car. The ERS as well, similar story, along with decentish gearboxes. So that's going to suit us all well. Because it's hard tyres, I think we possibly go out for 2 runs on... I don't think we'll need it, if I'm honest. But we'll go out for 2 runs in the first session. And really, that should be us done. We should get through on a single run in qualifying 2. And then I would expect that we get through... Look at that. I love this. What do you think of the new Ferrari livery, by the way? I know they've gone a bit more sort of black, haven't they, with it? But I think this white livery that they had for Las Vegas was just so much better than that. I really, really do. I think this livery in particular, I thought was just gorgeous. I know I say it every time we come on here, but yeah, it's looking rather nice. So let's fire around. To be fair, if the first lap is absolutely belting, I might just call them in after that. So Leclerc and Sainz, let's have a look what we do here. It's a... I mean, we're well in, aren't we? I don't see the point in going out for another lap. We may as well call him in. We are going to be so comfortably into Q3 with that. We are 6/10 quicker than Esteban Ocon. Let's see what the Red Bulls do. That's going to be the interesting thing here. Beautiful considering what we've been seeing for this year. Absolutely. I think there's going to be some nice liveries this year. I've got to say, I do quite like the Visa Cash App one. I think that looks a little bit different, I must be said. I mean, we went out with a heavy fuel load there. We had an extra lap of fuel and we've just beat Max Verstappen. That bodes very well for Sunday, so it's looking pretty comfortable. Carbon fibre, yeah, I know they want to save weight on the paint, but surely you've got to try and make them look a bit different. But I'm excited. It's only 2 weeks away now, isn't it, in Bahrain? So... I'm actually, I think this year, I mean, I make no apology. I do like Max Verstappen. And I still maintain that I very much liked him before he started winning everything. But I'm actually rooting for Carlos Sainz a little bit this year. Because obviously Ferrari's gone for Hamilton and I'd like Carlos Sainz to really kick on. And I like Leclerc as well, but I'd just like to see Carlos Sainz just be like, yes, I'm the main man and you've got rid of me and it's totally out of order. So, yeah, that bodes very well. Q3, right, we're on mediums. I think we can probably do this on 1 flying lap. I don't think it's going to take more than that at this moment in time. Made up for their name, I just like the colour. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a nice looking car. There's been a few decent ones this year. I quite like the Sauber. The Sauber looks quite good as well. Right, we are going to go out for a single flying lap. I'm just going to let a couple of other cars go out as well first. Ocon can go round. We're now going to go out with this little gaggle of cars and make sure that we get a decent run in. Hopefully, Perez and Gasly's not going to get in my way. I'd be upset if Gasly got in my way, it must be said. Because you know how close me and Pierre Gasly are. Leclerc, 3/10 off Verstappen on the mediums. We did get a little bit of traffic, it must be said, as it's a little bit overcast at this moment in time. Carlos Sainz, as I was just saying, Carlos Sainz puts it on pole position in Q2, a 10th in front of Max Verstappen. It wasn't a belting lap from Leclerc, but he's certainly going to be comfortably into Q3 with that. And then obviously the strategies on Sunday is going to be quite an interesting one. So Verstappen's going out for another lap now. Will Verstappen beat Carlos Sainz here? That's the interesting one. I've been supping water and eating Lemsip. Well, not eating Lemsip, taking Lemsip like you've never seen this week. My word. I remember when I went to New York. I went to New York and I tried to... I weren't very well when I went to New York, and I went in to get some, like, tablets that I knew of into this chemist, and my word, like... couldn't. I just. Oh, I can't remember what I ended up with in end, but it were good fun. I must admit. So Sainz is currently, yeah, Sainz top Q2 quite comfortably. Leclerc in P5. Anybody interesting like Pierre Gasly? Oh, Gasly knocked out in P11. Hulkenberg in P12. So we are now on to Q3. We've got 2 sets of soft compound tyres. What is the strategy again? Let's just... I seem to think that I normally go soft hard here. Yeah, soft or medium. So I reckon we'll probably go soft during the race. So I'm quite comfortable to go out on this one set. We are going to do the two flying lap run, which we normally do on the soft compound tyres. So let's get straight into Q3 and try and put it on pole position, because if we can do that, we will be absolutely laughing. I'm hoping we're going to get a clear run at this, which Leclerc Sainz certainly is. Leclerc might catch Verstappen. He might even go a little bit of a slipstream there, but didn't. But Leclerc and Sainz currently in P1 and P2. It's a 1:13.5 for Leclerc, just a little bit shy of that for Carlos Sainz. Actually 2 tenths slower, because Charles Leclerc on that second lap, my word, a 1:13.3. That looks very positive. And what looks even more positive is the fact that Max Verstappen
currently
was a second off. Now, I'm wondering here, do we save 2 sets of soft compound tyres? I'm going to put them on, just in case. It is just going to be the 1 lap. We'll stick another set of soft compounds on. But Carlos Sainz, I don't think we really need to go out again here. Would we agree? I mean, Sainz might need to. And if Sainz does, I mean, really, I've got to send Leclerc out. So I'm going to just fast forward this on a little bit. I'm not convinced we need to go out again. I mean, Verstappen's going to finish his lap, isn't he? Let's have a look what Verstappen does here. I'm going to have to make the decision. I was hoping to make the decision by the time. I mean, Verstappen's going to cross the line now, and he's not improved. I'm going to leave both our cars in here. This is a bit of a gamble, but Verstappen not improving. I'm not convinced Perez is going to improve by that much. Let's fast forward on. This is a big, big gamble here in Q3. It's all eyes, really, on Checo Perez, who's coming around the final corner. I think we're good as well. He's not coming around the final corner. Checo Perez, is that him done? Or is he not? Checo Perez, he's the one we are keeping an eye on. As Checo Perez, he's the only man who can knock a Ferrari off pole position. Checo Perez up to the line and doesn't do enough to improve. He improves enough, improves a bit, sorry, but doesn't improve enough to overtake either of the Ferrari. So at our home Grand Prix, it is a Ferrari lockout on the front row for Sunday. That is a very positive start to the weekend. Now,
the time has come to fight
interestingly here, do we go for the soft compound tyre? Let's have a look at the strategies, because I seem to maintain, I've done it all ways here, the soft to hard is apparently the way to go. We could try a 2-stop, but I don't see the necessity in that. I mean, we could possibly go soft, medium, soft if we really wanted to do. But it's not going to gain us that much on the 1-stop, and we know how bad our pit stops can be, so I'm not too concerned. I think we literally just go soft to hards. At the start, I reckon we try and burn away from the 2 Red Bulls, and if we can do that, we will dominate the race from there. I don't think there's any reasons to change anything from that. So P1, P2, let's just start, and let's just run away in the Italian countryside. Look at that. 2 Ferraris on the front. Imagine the Tifosi. They'd be loving this, wouldn't they?
They start in P1, but will they be able to stay there? The first corner could be so crucial.
Let's just ensure that our 2 don't run into each other here. That is the crucial bit. If we could have a proper, like, briefing, I'd be saying to Carlos Sainz, right, no daft, not flying. If you get a massively good start, then yeah, just do not run into each other. But
away we go.
And away we go. And looking behind, I can see a lot of medium runners, and this could be a very positive start for us because into turn 1, Leclerc has done very, very well. But Perez looks like he's trying to chuck one up the inside of Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz didn't have the greatest start. Leclerc certainly did. And Perez is looking to make moves, and we really don't want that Red Bull to get in front of our Ferrari. Carlos Sainz is going to be told you are aggressive on the overtaking because I do not want Checo Perez past you, but it looks like he's got him. But Sainz is still side by side with Checo Perez. This is a key start here because Sainz needs to get away from Perez and needs to break the DRS as well. And it looks like now he's just starting to do it. He's got a sigh of relief, and Carlos Sainz is past Checo Perez. Ideal, that is. And now we can look to burn away with both cars. As we come towards the middle of lap 1, we've still got Leclerc from Sainz, Perez. The two Aston Martins, Stroll and Alonso got a decent start. Verstappen down in P6. He did not have a good Saturday. Russell in P7, Ocon P8, Magnussen P9, and then Hamilton is in P10. But we are starting already to drop Checo Perez, and as we fast forward on now towards the end of lap 2, we have nearly pulled out 2 seconds on the Red Bull, which is ideal because now we can start to calm everything down as we want to do. Start calming down on the tyres. We've absolutely burned away there at the start, and that's exactly what we wanted to do. We're now going to tell Carlos Sainz to be low, sorry, we'll go medium on that, but we're going to say to both of them, don't be really defending this. If you need to exchange places, you certainly can. We've done this a lot during this series in particular. I mean, they're both starting to have a look at each other now. But if we get that tyre wear back, my word, we've eaten through his tyres there on that first couple of laps. Tyre wear seems to be quite high early doors. But as we come towards lap 3, we are 2 seconds in front of Perez. Verstappen is stuck behind two Aston Martins. And now we can start to look to calm down a little bit, which is good because our two guys are running in formation at this moment in time. We'll fast forward on once again, keeping an eye mainly, it must be said, on this gap here. As we come on to lap 4, Stroll is now 2.3 seconds behind. But as they're exchanging DRS, we're looking after his tyres. The one thing here is we're going to have to pit a lot, well, not a lot earlier, but a little bit more earlier than the Aston Martins and the Red Bulls, because both Red Bulls are mediums. You have to go all the way down to Gasly and Hülkenberg to find some soft compound tyre runners. So at this moment, we'll fast forward on once again, up towards probably lap 10, which is what I think we'll fast forward on to. We're looking after our tyres beautifully here, by the way. 79% tyres. Let's have a look at what we are expecting in terms of expected strategies. 25 to 31 for the medium compound tyre runners. And we've got both our cars coming in. They'll come in obviously a lap after each other. But at the moment, this is as easy as you like. Sainz and Leclerc. Perez 4.5 seconds back now. Verstappen just can't get past these Aston Martins. One other thing we do need to look at is the time considerations. It's 24 seconds with green flag. Under safety car, it will only take 20 seconds to make a pit stop. So we'll fast forward on once again. But as long as this gap keeps growing here, which it is doing, as Leclerc and Sainz really just exchanging places at the front, let's have a look how we're doing it. Because as we come on to the start-finish straight, we're going to ride on board with Charles Leclerc. And Charles Leclerc, DRS wide open. And as you can see, it's Carlos Sainz not really defending it. I mean, I'm saying that. They're going to be side by side through turn 1, which is not ideal. Basically, all I want us to do is keep exchanging positions, keep using that DRS, keep our tyres nice and fresh. And we are going to be absolutely loving life. Because at the moment, we have got so much pace. Sainz has got the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. We can take us time here. We are so in control of this Grand Prix. Imagine the Ferrari fans in real life. If you got the Italian Grand Prix and there were two Ferraris just cruising round at the front, building up nigh on a 5.5 second gap to Lance Stroll. We're absolutely cruising. It's now over 6 seconds. We're not even using a ERS or anything. I might even start harvesting a little bit of ERS with both cars here. just so we're in a better position later on.
On.
Meanwhile, we've got Perez and Verstappen both looking at the back of Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll now side by side with Checo Perez, and Checo Perez looks like he's got that move done. Perez up. Oh, he hasn't. He hasn't got the move done. Checo Perez can't quite get past the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll, who's giving him as good as he can possibly get here, and he still maintains that inside line. Lance Stroll forcing Perez wide, and Lance Stroll defends beautifully. And what this is doing, Lance Stroll is just allowing us to run away at the front here. We're even harvesting and still pulling out a gap. By the time we get to the end of this lap, I mean, I'm just seeing that drop to 5.5 seconds, so I'm getting a little bit nervous.
Charge button off.
But by the time we start going towards our pit window, we're going to be absolutely cruising here. So we'll fast forward on again towards probably lap 15-20. Lance Stroll is starting to pull us in a little bit, but then once again, just drops off. We look like we are managing this very, very well indeed. And at the moment, if we were to pit now, we'd be coming out around P13, but there's probably an argument to say we can go a little bit lighter on our tyres here and ensure we can extend this first stint, let a few more cars pit, and then obviously we will push on a little bit further. But at this moment in time, I can't believe, compared to the Andretti series, which obviously we do, Sainz has dropped off a cliff there. Compared to the Andretti series on YouTube, this has been so comfortable when we've streamed this, because we've just been in front. We've been in the lead of the Grand Prix more often than not. Our tyres are now seriously starting to die off, although the medium runners aren't really getting 8.3 seconds we've got to Checo Perez. When are we meant to be coming in? Around lap 24. We've actually got Leclerc's tyres are cold. That's how much we've been just chilling out at this moment in time. Leclerc's tyres are actually going cold. We're actually going to have to tell him to speed up a little bit so we can push on, which he's now done beautifully. We'll just continue on. We've got to pit. Now, this is an interesting one. Would we pit Sainz first or would we pit Leclerc first? I mean, arguments would say pit Sainz because of the tyre wear, but Leclerc should certainly get the preferential treatment as he's in the lead, shouldn't he? So 24 seconds brings us out just behind Nico Hülkenberg. So we are going to enter some traffic when we do pit, but I think we've got a nice enough gap to ensure that we're not going to get undercut massively by some other cars. So we'll continue fast forwarding on. I think Sainz's tyres are practically dead now. Yeah, they are. Sainz's tyres are very nearly dead, and he might have to come in very, very shortly. What we're looking at now, 24 seconds brings us out Hülkenberg territory. Then he might get a little good run at it. So we've got to bring in Carlos Sainz this lap. So Carlos Sainz will be boxing this lap. Leclerc can carry on a little bit longer. But let's fast forward on now, because Carlos Sainz, as much as he's been light on his tyres, he has melted them a little bit quicker than a few others. So into the pits comes Carlos Sainz. It's been a decent stint from both Ferraris on this first lap, but let's see where Carlos Sainz comes out here, because this is going to be absolutely crucial in terms we don't want a lot of traffic. And it must be said, 2.8 seconds, sub 3 second pit stop, beautifully done. Perez was actually in as well from the mediums, so we have made those soft compound tyres last incredibly well. Now, where is Sainz going to come out? Russell's past him. Magnussen just coming down the start finish straight. Bottas isn't going to catch him. Are we out? Oh my word, we are out in a lovely bit of clean air. Carlos Sainz, lovely. We're going to watch a pit stop issue for Fernando Alonso, the other Spaniard, not having a smoother issue. Let's have a look at pit stop, sorry. Oh no. Oh dear, I mean, he's hitting it with his left hand, he's pulling it with his right. No quite happening. I bet Fernando Alonso is absolutely fuming in that Aston Martin at this moment in time. Carlos Sainz now being told to attack. And of course, Charles Leclerc now is being told to box. So Carlos Sainz pushing on now on his outlap. Charles Leclerc just coming through the middle sector at this moment in time. He's come out P8 and he's in a lovely bit of clean air, he's Carlos Sainz. He's still got a 9-second gap to Checo Perez, but Charles Leclerc, barring a huge misstep here, should be getting this Grand Prix. Martin, how are you doing, my friend? It's been a long, long time. As you know, I now support the worst football team in the Premier League, which wasn't a surprise. 2.7 seconds. It's a sub 3-second pit stop once again. Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. We've been getting on a little bit more. We've been getting on a couple more streams recently, and I was meant to do it on Friday night, but no, we're glad to be back on the F1 manager as well. So look at this. This is going to be very, very close. Leclerc and Sainz. Sainz at full pelt. Leclerc not. And Carlos Sainz barges past his teammate, and Charles Leclerc is now has been undercut. He's going to be fuming. Oh, Charles Leclerc's not going to be happy with that. But what that has done is maintain the gap to Checo Perez, and that is absolutely wonderful. You support the most frustrating team in the championship? Well, mate, this is why we prefer F1 now. We're very much on the F1 bandwagon. Very much so. Leclerc's actually dropped out of DRS as well, which is a little bit of a problem. I'd like Leclerc to get back in that if he possibly can. I'm just going to calm down on the tyres and the fuel really for Carlos Sainz, but Charles Leclerc really needs to get back in the DRS of Carlos Sainz. I realise as well, because we're streaming on both Twitter, we're streaming on Twitch and YouTube, I'm going to try and get something done with this chat so you can see it all, because obviously there's two streams sort of going on, but Leclerc looks like he's now back in the DRS, so that is absolutely crucial, and that's it. I mean, barring safety cars, ladies and gentlemen, that should just about do it for us. I can't see a situation here where both cars decide to smash into each. I'm saying it, aren't I? I can't see a situation where both Ferraris decide to smash into each other and then take us both out of the Grand Prix. If we did that, I would be rather fuming, it must be said. Going in Southampton's unbeaten streak and then go and lose. That's the championship, mate. The championship's better than the Premiership. I can tell you that much, because the Premiership is rubbish. Take it from me. I have never been as disinterested with football at this moment in time as I am, and it's not just because we're losing. It's just shocking. No VAR. It's a much more level playing field. It's so much better, it must be said. Lance Stroll's currently leading. Let's have a look. Verstappen has gone long here. We're just going to fast forward on a little bit, probably until Verstappen pits. As you can see, we are catching Russell at a rate of knots. Right, Max Verstappen is in to the pits, and now he's coming out. Now, where is Verstappen going to come out here in relation to Perez? Because Perez had a much shorter first stint than his teammate. Verstappen's just trundling out of the pit lane. I think it's going to be very, very similar to what happened as Perez sets the new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Can he see Max Verstappen? He's past Max Verstappen. Checo Perez must have known that Verstappen was coming in for his pit stop, and he's banged in the new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Is Perez on mediums? No, he's on hards. Which now suggests, once we get a free run at it, we quite like the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well. So, which car should we go for the fastest lap of the Grand Prix? I'm thinking Charles Leclerc on this next lap could be absolutely ideal. Or Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz might be the one, because Carlos Sainz is going to get DRS into down the start-finish straight. So that's going to be worth a couple of tenths of a second. So I reckon on this next lap, we are going to push Carlos Sainz for the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. We've got George Russell in front of us, who should be pitting as well. So this is the moment. Right, Carlos Sainz, you are now being told to push for the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Let's see if we can do it. Don't have a problem with the officials getting it wrong, but yeah, exactly, mate. I totally agree. Totally agree. As if George Russell has decided to stop out. What on earth is he doing? And now we are watching Carlos Sainz overtake his teammate. He's got him into turn one, so that's fair enough. Now, hopefully, he doesn't get held up by this Mercedes, because if he does, that could very much ruin our fastest lap attempts here. So, George Russell, really, why did he just not pit? We thought he was going to pit, and he's not done. And now we've got Carlos Sainz looking at the back of this Mercedes, trying to get past him. He's just set the new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. George Russell's obviously fighting for position, which is not ideal, because he's actually making a fist of this for us. This looks a bit tasty. I'd rather not I would rather not lose our car and lose position. I want the fastest lap, but Carlos Sainz, I don't believe, because of this fighting with George Russell, he's going to get it. I mean, he's got past him well there. Looking at this, he's got a yellow middle sector. Could he possibly still get the fastest lap of the Grand Prix here? Let's have a look. It looks like Charles Leclerc's got past him as well. So this is lovely. Right, can Carlos Sainz get the fastest lap of the Grand Prix? I highly, highly doubt it. Carlos Sainz up to the line. Has not got the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. As expected, with the traffic he encountered, yeah, you kind of expected that, to be fair. So Carlos Sainz didn't do it, so it's going to fall on Charles Leclerc to do it very, very shortly. But we'll do it when we've got a clear run at it. When we played Forest away in the FA Cup, they can apparently score with their own. What's exactly, mate? I totally agree. It's a shocker, and yeah, it's just not enjoyable, mate. It's just not enjoyable. Which is why I must admit this sort of last year or so, Formula One's very much become my sort of main sport, and sort of been opposite to a Glory supporter when we got promoted to Premiership and we sold Njai and Berg, and I just not in love with game anymore. It's first season for a long time. I've not had a season ticket, and I made that decision sort of towards the end of last year. So yeah, I'm very much now. I much more look forward to watching the Formula One on a weekend, which is why I'm excited when it's coming back in a couple of weeks' time. So yeah, it's a strange one. I prefer to watch us down in League One and in Championship than what we're doing at the moment. And I think we got it wrong as well with Chris Wilder. So there we have it. What on earth is Esteban Ocon doing in this Alpine? He's causing us much grief and misery. But Charles Leclerc here, I'm wondering whether Charles Leclerc could push for fastest lap here. So we are going to say to Charles Leclerc, try and get fastest lap here. Because he can catch his teammate, and he's just had a good helping of DRS as well. So, Charles Leclerc, it all falls to you. We'll watch this lap, and then we'll fast forward on a little bit. But he is purple through the first sector. Carlos Sainz needs to book his ideas up as well, because his teammate does not want to be getting slowed up by him. So he's been told to push as well, to give him the toe in certain areas to make sure that Charles Leclerc can indeed get the fastest. I mean, we are pulling away from the Red Bulls like you've never seen here, which is absolutely ideal. But Charles Leclerc is purple through the middle sector. Checo Perez, my friend, you are not going to have the fastest lap of the Grand Prix in a moment. We've got battery empty on both Leclerc and Sainz now. But as he gets this run up to the line, Charles Leclerc is 100% going to get the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Because he's back in the DRS. This is going to tow him along to the line. He's going to get the slipstream from his teammate. And as he comes to cross the line, Charles Leclerc gets the new fastest lap of the Grand Prix, a 1:16.4 for Charles Leclerc. Absolutely ideal. We can calm down on everything now. And that should basically be it. You've just got a feeling there's going to be a safety car or a red flag now, don't you? So we're just going to fast forward a little bit now. Leclerc's tyres, my word. Leclerc's using his tyres up a little bit here. As is Carlos Sainz. I'm tempted. We're just going to go light on the tyres for both cars. Excuse me, at this moment in time, because I don't see that there's any need to be pushing on. I'm watching, it's Checo Perez that I'm watching really here. As our two guys now just exchanging places, we should be pretty comfortable. The gap to the leader, he's on, what, 10 seconds, Perez? We keep that gap around 10 seconds, we will be pretty safe, even around 9. But I reckon, because we'll be light on his tyres, and you know me, I do like to win races at the end, not just because it makes good content, but because relay, it just allows us to be aware for any safety cars or anything like that. So, but on lap 40, I mean, our two guys here, as we just cut back to the action, are doing it absolutely perfectly, not smashing into each other and driving around lovely. It's been worse days I've been. All the best players are sold to Bournemouth. May as well be a feeder. Yeah, absolutely agree, mate. I mean, the thing is, we signed Aimer and a couple of others, but like it's all money, mate. The further down you get, the better football I think becomes. When you get to sort of National League level and things like that. I mean, I've watched a couple of National League games and enjoyed them. I don't enjoy watching a lot at Premiership now. Certain teams I do, but not all. Probably Tottenham and Newcastle are me too. But, I mean, I suppose the same could be said about F1. Like, the teams with the most money tend to win. But, that being said, I don't tend to watch it for that as well. I like to see the young guns, and like when, oh God, Liam Lawson came in and did well last year, and do you know what I mean? I like to see things like that. So, and obviously, if you've not watched that Braun documentary, I mean, I bang on about it all the time. If you've not watched the Braun documentary, you need to watch the Braun documentary, because that is about as underdog as it gets, and I love anything like that. So yeah, any decent championship player gets tilt, absolutely. And it's not on. Carlos Sainz has just lost DRS to his teammate, which is not ideal. Despite us really saving our tyres here, we are struggling a little bit on the tyre wear, it must be said. We're just going to tell Carlos Sainz just to push up towards his teammate now. I think what you possibly would say on this is not looking good. What you possibly would say on the R2 drivers here today is that Carlos Sainz, and probably this is why Lewis Hamilton's replacing him. Carlos Sainz doesn't seem to be having the same pace as Charles today, but I don't mind that.
You can slow down.
Liam did fantastic with his time. Yeah, absolutely. I think I was a bit gutted Liam Lawson didn't get that seat. I know the old Danny Ricciardo thing, and I like Danny Ricciardo. I'm not against Danny Ricciardo at all. But, I mean, the way Liam Lawson came in, were it Zandvoort? I think he came in. I think he came in at Zandvoort, and he was just amazing, like, and the tricky weather conditions, especially when you'd sort of seen what had happened to what had happened to Nick De Vries and Sargent really struggling as well. I think for him to come in and drive that Alpha Tauri like he did was superb. So we're a little bit gutted not to see him on the grid or get a seat. But equally, his chance will come, I'm sure. I mean, I think Checo Perez is definitely going to be gone by the end of this year, isn't he? I can't see him renewing his contract. So yeah, there's a few things to look at. But yeah, Liam Lawson was amazing that he had that time in that seat. And what we expected to happen, we've got a yellow flag on circuit. And we were just talking about Nick De Vries, weren't we? We were just talking about Nick De Vries in P14. Nick De Vries here, let's have a look. He's going off here. I mean, the one thing about IMOLA, which is good, is you do get quite a decent runoff area, which I've used extensively on the F1 games. It's just consistently about how we kick. Exactly, mate. It totally is. It totally is, and it's all about the money. It's all about the money, and that's all it is, and that's the way it is nowadays. I think it will be in 2025 somewhere. Honestly, yeah, I would hope so. I mean, the Fernando Alonso thing always intrigues me. I mean, Fernando's gone to Aston Martin and did really well at the start of last year. And then, obviously, do you know what I mean? It sort of tailed away. And, I mean, he still had some amazing performances, Fernando Alonso. Especially, I think that in Brazil when he got Checo Perez on last lap, or penultimate lap. That were, I mean, I was jumping around the living room with that. I thought that were amazing. So, but he is getting on. Now, would you bring in a Liam Lawson? Mick Schumacher, he's obviously Mercedes reserve driver. Would they take a punt on him? I know Toto Wolff said he'd like to see something bold done. Well, if that's the case, then maybe... Do you put Mick Schumacher? Oh, George Russell's locked up. George Russell has locked up. Let's have a little look at this. George Russell, obviously the main man in the Mercedes team in real life now. Locking up, not ideal. He couldn't get that Mercedes stopped, unfortunately for him. Do you think Fernando could go to Mercedes? I think a lot depends on this year with Aston Martin. I think if Aston Martin set off like they did last year, he'd be less inclined to, but I mean, you won't rule it out. But I know Lewis Hamilton, and I'm not Lewis's biggest fan, but I am. But I am as a driver. I think he's an amazing driver. I'm not his biggest fan. But Lewis Hamilton must have known, and he cut a frustrated figure a lot last year, Lewis Hamilton, about the car. Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari, I am assuming, because there's a lot of rumours in the paddock, that Ferrari are trying to steal a lot of the best engineers, and they're really trying to become the #1 team again, which I'd love to see. If Lewis Hamilton's gone to Ferrari, I don't know, does that just not say that Mercedes might not be going somewhere, or he didn't believe in the project? I don't know, or is it just a case of he feels that the Mercedes project, the Ferrari project is better. That's the one thing I would say. We've got another yellow flag on circuit. Every time there's a yellow flag, I'm thinking, oh my god, I hope it's not two Ferraris running into each other. It's Checo Perez. So, in short, Paula, I think he probably could if Aston Martin are a back marker team next year, then yeah. But if Aston Martin are doing this, which Lance Stroll's just trying to do on Sergio Perez, then I think he'd be inclined to say, I'd rather him stay and make Aston Martin great. I really would. If he can build that team in his honour, in his image, and get that car racing how he wants to, then, I mean, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. Carlos Sainz, I have given you every chance today, pal. Just off topic. 47 laps in now, Carlos Sainz, I just can't keep him in the DRS of Charles Leclerc, so unfortunately, we're just going to have to leave it as it is. He's drained all his battery, he's not as good on fuel. Carlos Sainz, at this moment in time, may possibly be under threat from Verstappen towards the end, do we think? Because Verstappen is catching him a little bit, not by too much. I mean, the pace difference in our two cars at this moment is crazy. Ocon's just had a spin. We'll watch this because I don't have to watch this in an Alpine anymore. Yeah, that's not ideal. I saw Esteban Ocon do that a few times for me in my Alpine. I'm actually thinking, like I say, and let me know what you think about making sort of a Ferrari video in the week as well. And then we've got a little bit more scope to get this sort of finished. Is something I'm considering. I don't know when the next game is meant to be coming out, so that's something I'll probably check. Because I think we got through 4 seasons last season, our F1 Manager 22. So we're currently just coming towards we're just on the sort of middle back of season 3, aren't we, on the YouTube? So, which, on the other point, we have hit 100,000 views today on my YouTube channel, so happy days. I never thought that would happen when I first started it, so that's good. And we're only 18 subscribers away from becoming a YouTube partner, so once again, looking good. It's looking good on YouTube at this moment in time. We've got 13 more laps to go here. We're going to fast forward on once again, because there's not really much happening. I mean, Charles Leclerc, to say he's got it in the bag here would be an understatement, because he's dropping his teammate. What on earth is going wrong? I mean, Carlos Sainz is eating his tyres. He's dropping him by 5/10 a lap. He's dropping him by 5/10 a lap at this moment in time, Charles Leclerc. This is some performance from the Monegasque driver. Thank you, Paula. Yes, it is. Honestly, when I first started, I remember I saw one of my first YouTube videos, which were, it were a football manager one. And my word, I'd like to think I've come on a little bit since then. But no, the F1 Manager's been the series that's really sort of always does well, and something I started, and I do enjoy doing it now, and I'm sort of streamlining down from other stuff because I'm aware of outside commitments that's going to change, and you know what I mean, stuff like that. I'm really just focusing on the F1 Manager now, and I think that's the way forward, and it allows me to get a couple of streams in and things as well, so I'd rather do that than sort of be a little bit more sporadic, which I have been for the last few months, So yeah, there's a lot happening, but I'd like to get this motoring forward. 1 stream a week, 1 race a week could be difficult. Lance Stroll now locking up. There's been a few lockups today, fortunately, touch wood, not one of our drivers. Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin. See, if the Aston Martin starts doing this next year, that's when it's going to start having problems. Lance Stroll looking like he's dropped a few positions there, which has put Max Verstappen certainly in control of the podium, and Perez back up to P4. It's very much Ferrari from Red Bull. And to be fair, Carlos Sainz, I'm going to tell him to start conserving on his tyres, because I am actually a little bit concerned that towards the end, he may be looking at a puncture. Probably not, but better to be safe than sorry, because we have absolutely no pressure on us at all here. And he's still keeping the gap at 12 seconds to the Red Bulls. I mean, the fact that we haven't had an upgrade on for a little while, and the next upgrade we're going to have on the chassis is going to make a marked improvement to this car, really, really makes for good reading. I mean, Carlos Sainz's tyres are now cold, so we've got to speed him up a little bit. But we'll come back when we're on the final lap of the Grand Prix, because at this moment, No, they're not back up to temperature, Carlos, it must be said. You have not managed your tyres as well. To be fair to Carlos Sainz today, he's not managed his tyres as well as Charles Leclerc. He's not at the pace of Charles Leclerc. He's not managed his battery as well as Charles Leclerc. There's been a lot of things that Carlos Sainz has done today that's not quite been as good as Charles Leclerc. But what it must be said is, as much as he's not done them as well as Charles Leclerc, he's done them 11 seconds better than Max Verstappen, which is crucial. I mean, where else do you see Max Verstappen losing a race by 12 seconds? It doesn't happen, does it? So I'm amazed, which does really tell me that, you know, when F1 Manager 24 comes out and we have to start a new series again, it does make you think, look, don't start at one of the front teams, because, I mean, we're blitzing this at this moment in time. And just to say, with Andretti now, we've just started winning, haven't we, with Lando Norris? And that's going to come to an end, I'd imagine, towards the back end of the season, as we have to sort of stop upgrading and other cars start upgrading a little while. But no, I can't remember the last time Max Verstappen lost a race by 12 seconds. But we are going to see Charles Leclerc, who's just drove around the Italian countryside in a Ferrari beautifully all weekend, win the Imola Grand Prix.
Fantastic race.
And I think Charles Leclerc enjoyed that one. And then Carlos Sainz comes across the line in P2. That has been as simple a Grand Prix as you would ever see. And Charles Leclerc wins at a canter in Imola. It is a Ferrari 1-2. My word. Can you imagine the Tifosi doing this? If the Tifosi were here, well, they are here. If this were real life, my word. I mean, Max Verstappen has only just crossed the line. Charles Leclerc is nearly in Sector 2, bless him. Max, what's going wrong, my friend? Lance Stroll's in P5, Alonso's in P6, Hamilton, Magnussen in P8, Russell in P9, and Ocon and Gasly in P10 and 11. Are these battling for position? They are. We're going to watch Esteban Ocon just because he's one of the Alpine boys. Can Esteban Ocon get in to P9 and overtake George Russell on this final couple of corners? Let's have a look if he can get him on the run up to the line. I doubt that he's going to be able to. But Esteban Ocon, I mean, how many people? Bottas has been lapped. Everybody from P13 down has been lapped. Esteban Ocon does get a point. It's a disappointing day for Mercedes, but it's not a disappointing day for the Ferrari team. And let's just watch this.
Now, isn't that the kind of drive we love to see from Charles Leclerc?
Wow.
It was a truly excellent win, with everything working together for the team and driver.
We've bossed that, haven't we?
Well, they've
absolutely
been waiting for
bossed
this,
it.
haven't they? And it's only right that they make the most of it. And the Monegasque driver certainly proved his worth with a terrific drive today.
Carlos Sainz is happy, but not overly happy. Max Verstappen. He's not happy at all, is he? Hands on hips. Could Max Verstappen look any more miffed than he does on that podium? My word.
And it looks like those
bless, and we've got the champagne flying everywhere. The Ferrari champagne. Verstappen's getting involved a little bit now. She's getting a very good spraying of champagne from Carlos Sainz. But Max Verstappen is trying to put a smile on, but that has been a bad old day for Red Bull. And as we see, it was Charles Leclerc winning with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well. Carlos Sainz in P2, Verstappen in P3, then came Perez, Stroll, Alonso all the way down to Ocon in P10. Towards the back, Oscar Piastri. Oh dear. Lando Norris. Oh dear. Lando Norris in P18. Maybe he comes to Ferrari if we get to Season 2. Maybe he does. I still fancy the Max versus Lewis battle in a Ferrari, I must admit. Drivers standings-wise, Charles Leclerc is well in front at the front. 41 points ahead of Max Verstappen. Carlos Sainz in P3. Carlos Sainz is on the back of Verstappen. Do you reckon we can get a Ferrari 1-2 in the drivers? I mean, we've got 5 race wins for Charles Leclerc so far. It's looking very, very promising. Constructors standings-wise, 248 points for that beautiful badge on the right-hand side. Red Bull in P2, Aston Martin P3, Williams and AlphaTauri and Alfa Romeo yet to score a point. My word. We're still not brilliant on the fastest pit stops, are we? No, we're not. But that doesn't matter, because we're that far in front at this moment in time, as we get an end to the podium music, that we're not actually struggling. I think we absolutely could, Paula. See, I love your enthusiasm with these things. I think we can. You're a positive person, much like me, which is nice. Second or above was the season objective. And next up, which we will definitely do either next Wednesday or Friday, probably Friday, it is the Monaco Grand Prix, Charles Leclerc's home race. So we're going to save that for next Friday. I'm sure I can do next Friday. I'm really sure I can. If I can't, we'll do it another day next week because I'm starting to feel back to normal a little bit now. So we will be going to Monte Carlo in a little while on the next stream. But yeah, I think that'll call it there. It's just ticking up to an hour. Thank you for joining me at such short notice. I didn't want to not get a stream in this week, and we've managed to get it in on the last day of the week. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I say, I think Monaco is going to be a tougher Grand Prix for us. I don't think we'll be cruising around at the front. And can we break the curse of Charles Leclerc winning the Monaco Grand Prix? I really, really hope so. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Thank you for joining me in chat. And yeah, we will see you next week. Have a fantastic week. And we'll see you later. Ta-ra.